Hey, good morning, everybody. It's early mornings, LALATE. Hope you're good and safe. You made it to Saturday. Ready to crush the weekend? The toast is toast and the butter is butter. And I'm here, you're here, and guess who's buttered up? Bernie Sanders, who went to bat for your stimulus check on Friday. I don't think in all the months of reporting on this have I ever seen two people go to bat for you on stimulus more than myself and you. Those were Josh Hawley and Bernie Sanders. Did an incredible job, and they had a lot of people backing them. Democrats across the board, Republicans, and they basically said, next week is the showdown at the OK Corral, and it won't be okay if you don't corral a stimulus check. It's as simple as that. In this video, I'm going to be going over the breaking details that have transpired yesterday, Friday, and they're all good. They're all really good. Then I'll be focusing on what's going to come in for the next coming for you next week. It's going to be one of those ones where you just hope you had Botox, because your eyes and your mouth is going to be dropping all week long. I'm very excited about next week, and I hope you are too. So I'll be going over those details. Meantime, the big money comes from states for state stimulus. Viewers continue to get the money. And even with Saturday now upon us, there's ways to get money on Saturday. So I'm going to go over that as well. Are you ready? Do you have the toast ready? Do you have the butter ready? Well, let's get rolling. Let's get kicking. It's early mornings, LALATE. Hey, good morning, everybody. You made it to the weekend, ready to crush the Saturday, so let's get to it. Thank you for joining me for early mornings LA, in which there's so much breaking news about your second stimulus check, your second stimulus package, and I'm so excited for you. So, a lot of breaking developments yesterday. I'll go over them shortly, but first subscribe, because you're going to see in this video, and you're going to see the one hour right after this at 6:30 a.m. Pacific Eastern Standard Time, that no one finds to get you money more than this channel. Working around the clock to go to all edges of the earth to get you money right now, not 5 days from now, not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now, but right now. And now with no less than 14 to 15 volunteers, they're also helping you as well. We're ensuring that you get money for rent, food, utilities, gifts, and even possibly stimulus checks across the board. So this is all really good news. I want to ensure that you get this money now, despite what happens with Congress. And I will have your update about Congress. But meantime, what's over there? What are they doing over there? What are you doing over there? You're just chatting. There's all these little words coming across the screen. It's an instant premiere. If you're joining me for the first time, Early Mornings LA has an instant premiere every day. It starts with the 6 a.m. broadcast if you're tuning in when it airs, and then a second one at 6:30. So chat along. It's a great community, the same group of people, about I think we're now 50. I think we're about 100,000 viewers every morning. So really exciting across the two shows. And so chat away, and remember, I hope you brought me some bacon. So with that, there's so much breaking news. Let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news as you sit here today is that Friday was just one of those days. It's just, you didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming. After months of not seeing any congressional leaders step up for us, no one stepping up for us, no one saying, or else. God forbid you'd say or else. It's like, oh, you can't say that here. We don't talk that way in the Congress. Well, someone's finally said that, or else. And the or else is really quite refreshing. So let me recap what happened late yesterday. On Friday afternoon, Josh Hawley, the Republican from Missouri, who had introduced a standalone bill the day before for a stimulus check to go out to you right now, got the support of a lot of people, including Bernie Sanders, the independent out of Vermont, and a series of major Democrats from AOC to Elizabeth Warren and more, saying, you know what, we're not going to agree to a budget bill that is due today, Saturday, unless you send out a stimulus check. We've been asking for the stimulus check for too many months. And so they said, or else. Now let me explain why this is sort of aborted logistically. The congressional budget bill is a bill to fund the government. It has to be done every 3 months. It's called it's called the continuing resolution. It has to be done every 3 months. It has nothing to do with you. It's a bill to fund the federal government. Now, it's also called CR, short for Congressional Continuing Resolution. What transpired over the last week was the purple power, because of my urging, got congressional leaders to put stimulus in the CR. They did it because of us, because of the purple power. Purple power launched a campaign. I launched a campaign on this channel called #CR for Stimulus. That was my campaign. Purple Power got the message out very loud and clear on social media, and stimulus suddenly was in the CR. It worked because there was a deadline. It wasn't a deadline that anyone could run from, because the deadline was a hard, fast deadline. December 11th, today. So what happened? Well, suddenly they were putting stuff into the CR, stimulus that didn't belong there. Josh Hawley had enough, as you and I have had enough. So he went home and wrote a standalone bill, just like I had written over the summer. Remember when I wrote the standalone bill? #LALATE write the bill. Well, it was #Josh write the bill. And he wrote basically the same bill I wrote. It was a standalone stimulus check bill, $1,200 for adults, $500 for children, and there's some strange language in there that needs to get fixed, I understand, but that was the bill. Nothing else was in the bill. It's very simple. It's a standalone bill, 12 pages. Well, he got lots of big support. And so yesterday, when that continuing resolution budget bill, which had been passed, which had gotten an extension by Nancy Pelosi the night before, landed in Mitch McConnell's Senate. What did Mitch McConnell do? He decided to grant an extension for the bill passed today. He agreed to call a vote on Nancy's extension of the budget bill, meaning we're going to wait a week. We'll deal with this next week. Now, you know what I talked about on yesterday's Early Mornings LA. I talked about getting the message out loud and clear. We can't grant an extension if you're not giving us a stimulus check, remember? I said, stimulus check or no extension. Well, Bernie Sanders heard the message, because he went to the Senate floor and he said, you know what? I'm not agreeing to an extension today. Give the darn stimulus check. Give the darn stimulus check. There's not going to be an extension. And then others said the same thing. Finally, they made a deal. The deal was, and this is how Sanders said it, I'll give you one extension for a couple days to early next week, a 1-week extension, but I'm not giving you extension past then. And guess what? If you don't do a stimulus check next week, we are all going to block the CR, the continuing resolution, from ever passing. Meaning that campaign of this channel, #stimulus check or shutdown, is now a national agenda. And now a national agenda in the Senate. The Senate's position now is stimulus check or shut down. Started first with this channel with CR for stimulus. Now it's stimulus check or shut down. So where are we then? What's really interesting is the standalone bill for the stimulus check has only that. And then we have all these proposals everywhere. Well, these proposals are all floating around and no one has been able to sort through the proposals. So what can be done? What's sort of devilish in this situation? Well, Josh and Bernie could modify Josh's bill and add the 3 things that are needed, and we'd be done. POA, UI, extended to January, eviction moratorium and mortgage forbearance, and we are done. That's it. You don't need all this other stuff, because the other stuff's taken care of in January with Joe Biden. Will they do it? Will they understand that you don't need all this other stuff? Well, last night Joe Biden spoke about the need for eviction moratorium again. Thank goodness. Of all the subjects that Joe Biden has spoken about in the last 7 days, it has been eviction moratorium a lot. He and I have been the only 2 people that have talked about it, and one senator who talked about his or her desire to put it in the stimulus relief right now. But other than that, eviction moratorium and mortgage forbearance has gone forgotten by Congress. It cannot. Millions of Americans are about to be evicted on January 1st. They're allowed to lose their PUA, UI on January 1st. And those are the urgent concerns. Not airlines. Airlines are not shutting their doors on January 1st. Not hotels, not restaurants, not travel industry. They're not shutting their doors on January 1st. They are no different than everyone else. And actually, they are different. They got relief several times. We've gotten almost next to nothing. Now, what's going to happen in January and what's going to happen next week? Well, next week is really the most the most nail-biting final 11th hour battle you will ever see. Do I think you're going to get a stimulus check? Yes. Do I think it's going to be $1,200? No. It could be as high as $2,000. Josh Hawley met with the president several times over the last week, and the president has indicated he'll go $1,200 to $2,000 and may veto any bill that does not have a stimulus check in it for purposes of continuing resolution. Remember, Josh Hawley's bill is a standalone bill for stimulus. It's not a continuing resolution bill. It's just saying, you don't do my bill, we're going to block your bill on the continuing resolution, the budget bill. Interesting. I love it. So where are we then come next week? Well, they need to get those four things done. And ultimately, there has to be a coming together of minds to understand eviction moratorium, mortgage forbearance, stimulus check, and PUA and UI. So take this video, tag Josh Hawley, tag Bernie Sanders, tag AOC, Elizabeth Warren, and all the Democrats in the Senate, and make the message very clear. And Mitch's communications director, and his chief of staff, make the message very clear. Hashtag LALATE, hashtag Purple Power, hashtag stimulus checks or shutdown, and then make the messaging clear. You need to add an eviction moratorium, a mortgage forbearance, stimulus check, UI, PUA extended, and we're done. Very, very, very simple. Now, viewers always ask me every day as though it's gone. So I have to remind you, it is not yet gone. It's like, hopefully it still stays there. They $800 billion of CARES Act 1 money that's sitting at SBA, they can be repurposed. Yes. So the irony of the situation is that Josh and Bernie spoke nothing about that, and they can get their stimulus check paid for with that SBA unused money. It costs nothing. Get it done that way. And the White House likes that. So does Mitch. So I never understand when Republicans like repurposing CARES Act 1 money, but then Democrats forget to mention it. Although, Josh wrote the bill, he's a Republican. So it's very confusing. It's like, okay, well, why? Whenever it's talking about repurposing it, and then the other side, we're not going to repurpose. I don't understand someone who doesn't want to repurpose money. Viewers have asked me to explain it. Why would someone not want to repurpose money? Like you repurpose lumber, you repurpose plastic bags, but you won't repurpose $800 billion? That makes so much sense. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that one. So then let's go to your next week. Let's go to what's happening in January. So Joe Biden's going to take care of $2,400 SSI and SSDI, escalated hazard pay, EIDL, PPP, another round, rent, food, all those things, and finally multiple stimulus checks. All those things will come in January. And the reason I bring that up is because people always ask me, well, what happens to $2,400 for SSI? That was not supposed to go into this. What happens to the MSC? Are we giving up on the MSC? No. Multiple stimulus checks is a check for every month. This stimulus relief, this emergency stimulus relief coming next week is only covering an issue of 1 month. It's literally that tight a time frame, 1 month. It's refreshing that at least Congress is doing something. I'm putting that in quotations because it's not a lot. But in July, they let FPUC expire, and they didn't even care. It's like it wasn't even expiring. And of course, FPUCB has been expired since then. So Joe's going to take care of that in January as well. He promised the $600 retroactive for 30 weeks. Meantime, what else did Joe say overnight? So Joe talked about and introduced his new cabinet members that they're going to go to the very edges of their authority to get you relief. I heard it and I'm like, ooh, it sounds like Star Trek. Go to the outer edges of the authority to, yes. What is it? Woo, what is that thing? What I interpret those strange words to mean is going around Mitch. That's the only thing I can interpret those words around. Doing it without Mitch. It means basically the certain departments like housing, transportation, CDC, certain groups can do things by their inherent authority vested in them by act of Congress. And so I think what he's saying is that, how the Department of Housing may do something for eviction moratorium, because that's what he did say, but he didn't say how. But it sounds like he's going to have them do it rather than him doing by executive order. We shall see. It's going to get very heated very quickly. Finally, state and local. States are giving out incredible sums of money across the board. And the important thing you need to understand is that in the video right after this one, at the 6:30 mark, I'm going to go more over that available money right now. And the messaging that I'm trying to get across to viewers right now is that by this point, after doing this series of videos about CARES Act 1 state stimulus, you now know what it is. You know where it is. You know why it was put there. You know where to look, generally. Now the question is, okay, you've looked and you may not find it, and you're pretty confident it doesn't exist. It's not like you can't find it. You really think it doesn't exist. So then what? Then what do you do? Well, the first thing you don't do is you say there's nothing in my state. You don't do that because it's totally untrue. And that messaging I still have not gotten through to some viewers. So that's the next step of messaging, is that there are nonprofits that have been around for 100 to 200 years that I detail every day on Purple Power Live, who are doing God's work and paying for your rent, your utilities, your food, your Christmas gifts. Whether you are in a state that doesn't do anything for any of its citizens, these organizations are doing it. So, and I don't want to pigeonhole any state and say they don't do anything, so I don't want to say in the same sentence. Then I'll say that some states, 3 organizations, in other states, 4 organizations, in other states, 2 organizations are doing this incredible relief. And that's what I want you to know. If you missed Purple Power Live, it'll be in the pinned comments to this video, or it's also available on the channel now tape. You can go back and watch it from the night before. It's a lot of fun. It's a great show. And then also contact the volunteers. The volunteers are at news.LALATE.com, and they are also in the pinned comment. You can send them a message and they'll respond quickly. As always, thank you for joining me. Stay tuned and join me tomorrow. Join me at the 6:30 edition at the bottom of the hour in continuation. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay in my life for more.